see where we are. Okay. Redirecting Facebook. And we're live. Yes. All right. All right, guys. Excuse me. This is Roberta Spade, aka Miss Burt, welcoming you to our second broadcast for the day, Women Empower webinar series. So look, guys, this is what I need you guys to do. I'm going to need you to share this video. And I'm doing it as well. I'm going to share this on a friend's timeline that wanted to make sure she got this information. Okay. So while you're doing that, I'm going to also do that as well. And I'm going to share to a couple of my business pages. All right. And I hope you guys got to catch the one that I did earlier today with Ms. Originator. If not, if you registered, you will be able to watch the replay until the end of the week. And then it goes away unless you register. So make sure you register so you can see the list of phenomenal speakers we have for this week and next week. Okay? You don't want to miss it. So I want to first thank our sponsor, Play in the City. Come play with us. That's PLAE inthecity.com for being our sponsor for tonight's and today's broadcast. So go visit Play in the City. Lots of new fun things to do on as you want to do a girls' night out or a date night out instead of a movie and dinner. Try Play in the City and try something new. All right. So I got all those great, wonderful things out of the way. And thank you guys for tuning in today. We'll also be able to have questions. So please, if you have any questions, make sure you type them below and we will get started. So I want to welcome our guest tonight. It's hot underneath these lights. Sorry, guys. Welcome, Mr. Alan S. Wilson of the Solution for Life Mastery. Welcome, sir. Welcome. Thank you for joining me, Ms. Burt with Dreams Empowerment Network, during our second year of hosting Women Empower webinar series. So thank you for joining us. Tell us a little bit about your company and your book and what you do.
Hi. Life Mastery Solutions. What we want to do is bring solutions to the marketplace or to many people. So I have a message from the King. All right, the King is the creator of all things. He's the Father. He's everything. He's the one that created you and I, the product. All right, and the message is basically comes down to this. It deals with the manufacturer's manual, and the goal of the manufacturer's manual, which is a book, is to point the reader toward the manufacturer, which is God, which is the creator, which is the Father, and his manual being the Bible. And the part of the goal of the book is to encourage the reader to get to know the maker, the manufacturer, for him or herself. In many different areas. I highlighted some M's throughout the book. That's the way he gave it to me. He downloaded some M's to me, like marriage, manhood, meals, medicine, money, maturity, media, music. These are all M's that are common to most of us in the Western world. So at some point in our lives, we do deal with man being the product, male or female, marriage, dealing with relationships, maintaining the product. We have to maintain ourselves throughout our existence, whether physically, intellectually, spiritually, meals, what we consume, medicine. Once in a while, we need to take medicine. That's part of what we consume. Money, we need resources in order to do the things we need to do. And also we need to grow, maturity. We need to be able to advance and mature into the things that God has placed in front of us and know how to use the tools. And sometimes that takes maturity to do so. So in terms of using the maturity, we learn as we mature, we learn to use the different facets of things like media and music and, things like that.
Absolutely, absolutely. Now, you guys, if you're listening, if you're out there, all of Mr. Wilson's information is on my website. So if you go to dreamsempowermentnetwork.org and go about us, you can see the listing for the 2019 list of speakers that's going to be presenting this week and next week. And his contact information is there, and a little blurb of his bio is also there. So you can, contact him afterwards if you're interested in connecting with him. So tonight, we're going to focus on 5 solutions for a life of mastery. 5 solutions of a life of mastery. So, we're going a little detail, a little conversation back and forth. And if any of the viewers or listeners have any comments, we'll be able to read some of the comments below, and I'll address them to you. So, what is the first? I don't know if you have them in a particular order, but what would be your first solution for a life of mastery?
So, number 1, develop an honest assessment of yourself. So what that means is take a good, honest look at where you're at today, where you want to go today, and how you got there. And sometimes we have to take a good, honest assessment of ourselves. We need to look at the components or how we got there. Look at what's around us. Look at our families, our friends, and those that we are surrounded with. But most of all, we need to take a good look at ourselves. There's some things about each and every one of us that are unique to us. God made us all unique, and he made us with certain dreams and desires. And he put things in us that he hasn't put in another person, and he put certain desires within us. There's certain things that you like that I don't like, but yet at the same time, we can take a good look at assessment of ourselves with that.
And then what are some of the ways we can, how do we assess ourselves? What are some of the questions that we ask ourselves to get that answer?
Well, who am I? What am I? Where do I come from? The who, what, why, how, the basic stuff that we have learned. And these are things that are, they're not, what I'd say, great or anything, or just simple common stuff. Be honest with yourself. Who am I? What am I? Male or female, 2 products. Now, may keep in mind something. Everything that I'm presenting comes from the manufacturer's point of view. So to the best of my ability, I will try to give some wisdom keys, some insight from his point of view, because I really don't want, or we don't want to communicate to our readers that it's my opinion or our opinion, because only the manufacturer knows what he placed in the product in order the product to yield the results that is needed. So, and so some of those things, just be honest with yourself and look at take an assessment. Okay, I have a degree. I speak a language, or you may not speak a language. Those type of things. Fitness, that's part of it also. Sometimes some of us need to take a good look at how we are physically. Yeah. Those type of things.
I know when you talk about who am I, what is my purpose, a lot of times it takes a while for a person, like you said, you talked about maturity, to grow into that and begin to look around and start to ask themselves those questions. I know for myself as a young woman coming up, not until my late 20s, I started to question, who am I? What is my real purpose? And that started my journey on self and discovering my connection with the Divine One.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So what's number 2?
Number 2 is develop the discipline of reading. So that's a,
Say
that
that
is
again. Say that again.
okay. All right. So develop the discipline of reading. I have found that many of us, and even me growing up, I had to really work on that. I was placed in an environment, and God had graciously placed me in an environment. And let me back up why I say this. Sometimes the father or life situation has to happen in terms of it'll force you out of your comfort zone, as it were. Whether you're in a job situation or in a situation where you have to do some research, you're involved with college, or you may be going for a degree program and stuff like that. Sometimes situations happen on purpose. Sometimes they happen by accident to force you out of your comfort zone. So with that said, one of my things I had to do in my early 20s, I had to really get into the discipline of reading, even when I didn't want to read. But I found that it was necessary to do it. And I had to, and I'll be honest with you, I had to eliminate some distractions, invest the time, the energy, and also the money. And that's something we all need to work on. And there's plenty of, I'm not here to say what you need to read, but that's based on what you find about yourself, your purpose, your destiny. A lot of that gives you kind of the inkling, or will point you in the right direction, or the type of material that you have to read on a daily basis. And sometimes you have to eliminate some of the distractions like TV or other things. And you have to purposely do that because we don't know everything.
Right. I'm just putting in the key points that we're talking about. So I am when you talk about discipline in reading, it bothers me that we are not as disciplined as we should be in reading or participating in reading. I know when I participated in the Blacks in Government training, and I was one of the presenters there, and I was selling my books, and a lot of people picked up, it was a great training. They picked up the book. They was like, well, I don't read. And I said, what do you mean you don't read? Whoa. What do you mean you don't read? They were like, I don't read. I don't have time for books. But I also had a coworker that said the same thing. I don't have time to read. I don't read. You listen to books, audio? No, none of that. So that bothers me that people don't exercise, don't get the knowledge that they need to grow.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And to not to just to grow spiritually, but to have their brain massaged and exercised and stretched to think outside the box.
Right. Mm-hmm.
My mom always took me to the library. We would come back with 3-4 books coming up. And I brought my children up that same way, is to go to the library and spend time in the library and to read and to enjoy reading. Now, somewhere along the line with, especially boys, they get away from a lot of reading.
Right. Mm-hmm.
I found that I actually find that my oldest son is reading more now. Like I said, it was a point where he read because I took him and I exposed him to books. To when he got on his on after college, he didn't read, to now he reads more and more, because one, he's in the master's program, he's trying to get his, he's trying to go to law school, but he's picked back up reading. And so also with my youngest son, same thing, exposed to books. Got that period of time where, high school, middle school, not so much reading, extra reading, to now he does a lot of reading.
Right.
So even myself, I do read, but I don't read as much as I want to. So my goal is this year is to at least read 2 books a month. That may not sound a lot to people who is always reading, but for me, that is a lot to stretch myself to be able to read. But you have to be disciplined to read, and it's important to do that. It's very important to do that. So much is there to push you to the limits to think further. I don't want to knock my stand down here. So what's number 3?
Number 3, develop a fitness program. So with that, we live most of us in the Western world, particularly if you live in a urban type environment, physically speaking, we don't, as opposed to even those who live in a rural type environment, we're not as physically fit. We can all of us can definitely improve on that. I would say that. And I'm not here to tell you, I'm not a doctor or anything like that, but I would encourage the listeners to go do an assessment. Like, you go to the doctor, you can get an actual physical fitness or an assessment of where you're at physically. You can do a blood test. I had a blood test done a couple of years ago. The doctor said, "Man, you got good blood. You must keep staying in pretty good shape there." Yeah. So you can start there by just going to the doctor and say, "Hey, I need you to do an assessment of my health." Blood tests and all X-rays and different things like that. So that's a good way. That's a good place to start. Also, with the number of, I don't know where you live at, but where I live at, there seems to be a number of fitness centers popping up all over the place.
Yeah.
Used to be more when I was growing up, you never saw them. But now, since time has gone on, a lot of people, a lot of different companies have opened up all types of fitness centers. So there are people in there that are trained, and they can, once you do your assessment and see where you're at, and see one of the things about doing an assessment is not only seeing where you're at, but you want to see where you want to go. you want to go somewhere. If you start now, if you just can do 1 push-up, well, praise the Lord, you can do 1 push-up. But the goal is let's see if you can do 20 push-ups, or whatever the case may be. Let's see if I can only run a quarter of a mile. Well, let's see if we can push you to run a mile. Let's get you running there. Let's get you on the flow. And a lot of it is discipline, but you have to want to do it. You have to want desire to do it.
Yes, that definitely takes some discipline. I know I have been working on being healthy and trying to get myself in shape for a while. And it definitely is a struggle at some point, but it is necessary, because we look at the world, and it talked about we are the most obese people on earth. And China has the least obesity rate, so, but it all ties into having a alignment of mind, body, and spirit when you're talking about a mastery.
Right. One of the things I did some years ago, I heard a message or a series of messages called Spiritual Protocol. And Spiritual Protocol was pretty much like dealing with rule, order, and structure of your life. And when I heard the message, now within the message itself, it did not deal with what I was dealing with specifically. The person who gave, it was my pastor at the time, and he was doing a series called Spiritual Protocol. But as he was doing the message, or as he was developing the message or speaking on the message, the Lord was dealing with me in terms of my own protocol for my physical body. And I was been pretty, I was in the military, I was in pretty good health, but I wasn't perfect either. So one of the things I did was I stopped drinking. I went from drinking soda to drinking more water. And I admit it's not easy. But when I heard the message and I started meditating, and the Lord was dealing with me, and this goes back to some of the things that we're talking about. A lot of it has to do, you have to be connected, or you have to desire to be connected to the manufacturer, because the manufacturer, which is God, the Father, the Creator, has placed in each and one of us the components that are necessary. But also he gave us a will and expects us to do our part to take care of this product or the components within this product. So the whole product, as it were, or the whole male and female can do what it's designed to do according to the manufacturer, because only the manufacturer knows what he placed in the product in order for the product to do. And notice something, the manufacturer never asked the product. So,
absolutely. I think when it comes to life changes, that we get so hung up on the views of others. And when I say that, I think of people who start off on the race, but then they get sidetracked because they're looking at what's on the side of them, what other people are thinking. If I fail. What if I fail at this? Who the whole who am I? The discovery part is one big aspect, I think, because the journey of that by itself is an emotional. It's like I said, it's a spiritual, and it's it's an educational, spiritual, and an emotional journey. When you seek out the divine one, the creator, like you said, the manufacturer, it is an emotional journey, because you realize what was given for you to be here. When it clicks and you actually connect with the spiritual part, with the Holy Spirit part, when things connect, you realize, wow, I do have a purpose, and I do serve something greater than me. There's something bigger than me. There's life that's more than I can experience in my lifetime. And I think when we're going through this process, you're going through the physical part, the exercise part, like I said, going through the part of reading and educating yourself. Like I said, it could be educating not just through reading, it could be through listening, with technology today, watching different types of film and things of that nature. I'm a firm believer of, making sure that you are aware of what you're seeing and hearing, so those things won't get into your spirit, which is a whole total different subject. But I'm not going to go there. But, we're having those things that you listed thus far, which was, take a good look of an assessment of yourself. Make sure you're being honest with yourself. Question, ask yourself, like I said, ask yourself those questions. Who am I? What is my purpose? What is my ultimate goal in life? you know. And 2 was develop the discipline of reading. And 3 was develop a fitness routine. So what's 4?
Well, this is a good segue. I think you hit on it already about failure. Failure is not final. The purpose of failure is it's a learning process. It helps us to make adjustments, and it's also character building.
Yes.
Those 3 things. So it's okay to fail. As we go through these the things we already talked about, even fitness, reading, whatever the case may be, whatever discipline that we're in, it's okay to fail. You know, we don't have to compare ourselves to anybody. I got through that a long time ago.
Oh, yeah.
You know, I am who I am. I am who he made me. You know, I'm 6 feet tall, 200 and something pounds, and I'm happy with me, and I can press on. And this is what we have to do. I don't have to take anybody's opinion of who I am. You know we got all these categories now in our society. You know, you got people labeling us as black men, brown men, male, female, gender. We got all types of, trying to figure out who I am. Wait a minute. Some of it we need to go back to the manufacturer and look to him and ask him, who did he make us? You know, but going back to what we're and connected with that is, failure is not final. It's a learning experience. You learn. There's some things you don't know. We don't know, and that's okay. We haven't been exposed to everything. And we only know the things that we have been exposed to. Yes. But there are things within each and every one of us that God wants to show us. I would put it like this: we are the undiscovered country. There are things in us that we don't even know yet until we put some of the disciplines that we're talking about into reading, physical fitness. And sometimes you don't know until you start striving.
Yeah. Yep. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. You guys have any questions? Put your comments or questions down in the comment section. We're getting a lot of shares and hearts and love. That's good. Keep giving that up. I'm trying to scroll this down without messing up here. All right. We got some recaps going on in there. We got some activity. Great. Thank you guys who have shared. Thank you. Continue to share this information. Like I said, we will be here all this week. Monday, which is today, we had an early session today at noon and tonight at 8, which we are viewing now. And then our next session is Wednesday, same thing at 12, and then again at 8. And I'll tell you who those speakers will be. And then again on Friday, 12 noon and 8. And we will repeat that next week as well. So make sure you guys go register so you can get the notification that we're on, we're ready, we're rocking and rolling. So you don't want to miss out on this great information. It will not be up on Facebook. I can't repeat myself enough. It will not be up on Facebook at the end of this week. All speaker information will be gone unless you have registered for this event. It is free. It is free, absolutely free. I wanted to bless you guys with this information for free. So make sure you go so you'll be able to get that download and put that in your arsenal, your educational arsenal, your inspirational, motivational arsenal. Something where you can go and tap back and listen to these speakers and get this information to store that in your spirit. So it has to take root in order to grow. In order the way it takes root is for you to continue to listen to it. All right. I wanted to, just, let you guys know that I am grateful for you guys. I am grateful for your participation here tonight. Mr. Allen, for being here. And I just appreciate what you're bringing to the table. So our fifth point for solutions for life mastery is
very simple. Listen. Listen.
Listen. That's not simple. That's not easy at all.
Well, I think you kind of hit on it already about repetition. Repetition is the mother of learning. The key to training is repetition. And one of the things that's going to help each and every one of us is depending what we listen to goes into our ear gate. Mm-hmm. And what happens, it goes into our most inner being. And then eventually what happens is we regurgitate that out. That can be a positive thing or a negative thing. Yeah. So what we want to do is regurgitate the right things, the things that are pure, the things that are necessary, the things that are add value, not only to ourselves, but also add value to our people around us. So let's develop the skill of listening. In other words, when you hear people talk or whatever the case may be, how would I say this? Everyone has an opinion, mm-hmm. but very few listen attentively. So we need to do less speaking and more listening. I know that everybody does have an opinion, and that's good. That's not a bad thing. But yeah. sometimes opinions can be way off or out there, so to speak. And so we need to develop that skill of just listening, and then take it in, meditate, think on it. Does this sound right? Is this right? Or do I just regurgitate it out, so to speak, and say my opinion on this? And there's a multitude of things that we can listen to. And we already talked about some things about reading, and a lot of that is woven into that. So that in itself, sometimes that's a discipline, because I know people, and you probably know people who talk well, so to speak, but they don't listen well either. So one of the keys to the success is also develop that listening skill, as it were.
Yes, it's important. If you're a communicator, you have to learn to listen. So anytime someone tells me, "Oh yeah, I'm a great communicator," but I'm trying to ask you a question, or I'm trying to make a statement, but I can't get a word in. Right. Yeah. I'm like, "Oh, are you a communicator?" Because it takes you to listen as well as to speak. So, and that's in all relationships, because you have to communicate, whether it's at work, whether if you're out and about, whether you in a relationship. So listening is a part of communicating. It's not just speaking. One of the things I've read somewhere is women talk more than men. And I was looking at I think it was like a comic strip or something, where the woman had spoke, and she was asking the person to take out the trash, and at the end of it, he was like, "So you want me to take out the trash?" But she just said it like 20 different ways to take out the trash, and he was like, "So you want me to just take out the trash?" But it's very important that we do listen. And as far as opinions, I think I got a way of taking people's opinions personal. Mm-hmm. A lot of times we take someone's opinion, which is fine, because that's how they are viewing it. Right. It doesn't make it true. Mm-hmm. That's something that I had to learn. Their opinion doesn't make it true. It's just their opinion, and how they're viewing it makes it true to them. Right? And so I had to move away from getting so upset or frustrated if someone voices their opinion that was not the same as my own. And I had to learn that my opinion is my opinion. Doesn't make my opinion less truer or more truer than the other person. It's just my opinion unless I state facts. So facts is facts. You can't change the facts. But if it's just my opinion, it's just my view of what I see the situation is. Mm-hmm. And I think a lot of times we take things like that personal, and it shuts us down in our heads. Mm-hmm. I know a lot of times that's how I was when I was young. People put their opinions of me, family members, of me, and what they saw of me or thought of me, and I took those things personal. And I had to realize later on that that's their opinion. That doesn't make who I am. Mm-hmm. It doesn't. That's not who I am. And I realized, like I said, the journey, the spiritual journey, like you said, the very first, the spiritual journey, your true assessment of who you are. Once you start to go through those things, you learn who you are, and those opinions doesn't mean anything later on, So that's my 2 cents. That's my 2 cents. Let me see what we got here on the line here. Dawn Ferguson says, do you have any self-help books that you would recommend for those that are going through a hard time with any of the tips that you had? So, which is assessments, reading discipline, fitness, failure, and skills of listening.
But I do in the book that I wrote, The Manufacturer's Manual, the book itself, but also in the back of the book, I put references of some of the things that we're talking about from other writers on fitness, consuming of foods, meals, talk about water. So throughout the book, I lay out and I use references that people can go back and they can also not only read the book, but also go look at the references and go get the books and go out there and do the research and check out other people. Because I don't know everything. I don't think anybody does know everything. The only person that knows everything is Jesus Christ himself, the Holy Spirit, and the Father. But he uses each and every one of us in a unique way in order to help each other and bring that information to the table, so to speak. So in my book, the Manufacturer's Manual, and you can go to my website and your information. You mentioned about the information already, but it's just AlanSWilson.com, and check out the book, and and then, well, like I said, in the book there's plenty of references out there.
I was just reading comments. Yeah, awesome. Love these tips. Matthew joined in. He says, thanks for having you here. Matthew Horn, author, PR, marketing and management clients. Alan Wilson on your virtual seminar. Thank you for getting him involved. And hopefully I get to see him in the Black Authors Expo.
Okay. All
right. You said what you communicate is a reflection of what you listen to. Let's guard what we take in. That's so true.
Right.
We need to be mindful of the type of music we listen, what we expose ourselves to, what we see. The other night it was kind of late, like 9-ish, 10-ish. And every channel I turned on, I was like, oh, I'll watch this movie. And every one I turned on to, it was like violence against a woman. You know, it was sex trafficking. It was domestic abuse. It was some woman trying to kill another woman. I was like, I don't want to watch this before I go to sleep. But it does. It can get into your spirit, and it can make you. It can change your mood,
Mm-hmm.
and people don't realize that you have to be careful of what your surroundings are, what you intaking, what you in your conscious mind, because it can alter your mood.
Right. Mm-hmm.
It definitely can alter your mood. Music, what kind of music you're listening to, exposing yourself to more often than enough. Um, if you're listening to the lyrics, and it can shift your mood, just as it can shift you into a good place.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you listening to, I know when I listen to like Earth, Wind and Fire, things like that, it takes me back to when I was a little girl in my 70s, in the 70s.
Mm-hmm.
It takes me, make me feel, like the sky's the limit. It makes me feel happy. I think about, being outside in the summertime and chasing butterflies and all kinds of stuff. And it can do just the opposite. So you have to be careful of what you expose yourself to. So that's a very good point when we talk about guarding what you listen to, what put in your ear gate. So thank you for bringing that point up as well. Take some water. I'm trying to do better.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
I believe that I'm still working on it too. But I drink a lot more water than I did, say, 20 years ago on a regular basis.
Yeah.
So just, I've learned some things that, like, water is just the lubricant of the body.
Yes.
So,
lubricate those joints.
Exactly. I've learned, as you grow older, you need water to keep the joints lubricated. A lot of times, and like I said, I'm not a doctor, and that's something you can talk to a doctor about. But a lot of times, as we grow older, we experience certain joint pains and back pains and those type of things. Some of those ailments can be alleviated just by drinking water on a regular basis.
Yeah.
And that's something the manufacturer place as a resource at our disposal. That's something to think about. And I learned, that's something I had to discipline myself into. Get rid of the sodas, get rid of the, unnatural stuff, and get rid of and place the healthy stuff. And I can feel a difference. I mean, if I eat or drink something, like soda or something like that, my body will tell me, like, why did you put that in me? They're talking like, no, so there are things within each and every one of us that the manufacturer of God has placed within us to trigger us, to tell us, hey, you need to work on that. Okay.
Yes. I'm an addict of Pepsi. I am myself. But I'm getting better. Like I said, failure is not final.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Failure is not final. Let me repeat that. Failure is not final. Because we all often think that, I failed at this, so I'm not going to try it again.
Right.
No. Like you said, learn from what you've done. Learn to say, okay, this worked, but this didn't work. Why this didn't work? Maybe look at it at a different angle or a different, perspective, or have someone else look at it. Don't let that be your final destination of, a failure, because it's not final. It's just not. I mean, I believe that you can do anything you put your mind to it. And we talked about that earlier today. Is pushing through or finding the strength to go through something that you haven't done before. And again, we don't want, because you did not succeed in the way that you wanted to succeed, that it be your final destination. What if Zuckerberg if he stopped when he failed of doing his first series, his first trial of Facebook? I'm sure everything that was invented the first time they did it, it just didn't work. It didn't work perfectly. No, it didn't. They didn't allow that first time of failure to stop them. Mm-hmm. And thank goodness.
And we benefit from it as a society.
Absolutely.
So many of the inventions, whether it be the car, whether it be the flow of electricity to the instruments that we use, they give us light. I believe it was Thomas Edison, failed quite a few times before he actually got it. So failure is not final. We just need to stay focused, learn, make the adjustments necessary. And it's about character. It's building your character so you can handle the weight of responsibility for that. And we can carry it. It's just we need to place ourselves in, be able to understand that.
I think how you have laid out the points all work together. They all flow together in a way that is someone is able to work them. Mm-hmm. So thank you for that.
You're welcome.
If you guys have any more questions or comments, you can leave them down at this time. Thank you, Michelle, for joining. Thank you, Jasmine. Sorry I didn't have you this year. This is the second year doing this. You were on my first broadcast. So thank you. Let's see what we got. Matthew chimed in and said, great points, Alan. Failure serves us immersively when we allow it to. So thank you for that. If I'm squinting, y'all, I don't have my glasses, so forgive me. Immeasurably. I think that's what it says. When we allow it to. Woo! I'm having a heart attack on these lights here. Yes. So guys, look. Again, thank you guys for tuning. Oh, I got some more. I don't like to leave people out. So thank you, Miss Lynette, for tuning in. He's about to get me. Byron for joining us. Don, Jasmine, Michelle. Is it Kelvin? Kevin. I can't read, y'all. I'm sorry. That's what I get for trying to holler out everybody. Tabitha. I don't think it's Tabitha though. I'm sorry. I can't. The letters are all squinted together. But you can pinch me later. But thank you guys for tuning in and sharing this broadcast. And like I said, Wednesday is our next speakers. I can't talk now. Our next speakers. I will be on at noon, Wednesday the 6th. Sorry about that. I thought I had to cut that off. Wednesday at 6, I'll be on 5 ways to ignite your happiness. And then at 8 o'clock, Larisha Warner will be on with 5 crucial steps to pursuing your divine purpose. I had to write those real big just in case I didn't have my glasses. So that is for Wednesday. Again, you can go to dreamsempowermentnetwork.org to see the lineup of the rest of the speakers for Friday and the following week. So make sure you go and check that out. Register so you can get your ping letting you know that we're about to start and you don't want to miss it. And you also will be able to get the download, because after this week, all the speakers' all the speakers' broadcasts will be gone. All right. So basically, I will be, if you have it, you'll be able to download it. You can do MP3 or you can do video, however you want. Make sure you take this information, put in your educational arsenal so that you can grow. This series of webinars is, to one, inspire women and just celebrate women for all the accomplishments, educate women, inspire women, for women, by women, however you want to look at it, pour into us. At times we're always on the go and we never sit still long enough to get poured into. So this is a great way that we can pour into by sharing this video, downloading it, send it to someone that may need this blessing. This was a true blessing, a true awakening, learning these 5 points, a solution to life mastery. Definitely helped me and shed some serious light on, being disciplined, fitness, just brought back my remembrance to do some things for myself. And also, I hope it helped you to realize some of the things that you need to help master your life, as the master himself has planned for you. Thank you guys for tuning in. This is Ms. Bird with Dreams Empowerment Network, the 2019 Women in Power web series. See you guys on Wednesday. And remember, you have to dream big to win big. Mwah. Yay!